You are my highest hope, your glory I love to.
Thanks for checking out Into the Light today. We're in John 13. And I want to talk to you about one of the most important lessons, very special lesson, that Jesus taught his disciples. John 13 and verse 1. Now before the feast of the Passover, Jesus, knowing that his hour had come, that he would depart out of this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. During supper, the devil, having already put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon, to betray him, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands and that he had come forth from God and was going back to God, got up from supper, laid aside his garments, and taking a towel, he girded himself. Then he poured water into the basin and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel with which he was girded. So he came to Simon Peter. He said to him, Lord, do you wash my feet? Jesus answered and said to him, What I do you do not realize now, but you will understand hereafter. Peter said to him, Never shall you wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I do not wash you, you have no part with me. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, then wash not only my feet, but also my hands and my head. Jesus said to him, He who has bathed needs only to wash his feet, but is completely clean. And you are clean, but not all of you, for he knew the one who was betraying him. For this reason he said, Not all of you are clean. Verse 12. So when he had washed their feet and taken his garments and reclined at the table again, he said to them, Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for so I am. If I then, the Lord and the teacher, washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I gave you an example that you also should do as I did to you. Truly, truly, I say to you, a slave is not greater than his master, nor is one who is sent greater than the one who sent him. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them. Selfishness is almost always the root cause of sin. And Jesus came to this world, he said, in passages like Matthew 20 and verse 28, I came not to be served, but to serve. Think about that. The Son of the living God came to serve. And this washing the disciples' feet is just a small example of what he was ultimately going to do. He was going to serve us by giving his life on the cross. But he said, if I, your Lord and teacher, do this, this is what you should do. I'm your example. And he said, you're blessed if you do them. And that's the part I want to focus on today, is that service takes our time. It takes our energy and our effort. And sometimes serving others is difficult to do, especially when others don't always appreciate it. But there is joy in serving. Jesus said, even about his service on the cross, in Hebrews chapter 12, the Hebrew writer says, for the joy that was set before him, he endured the cross, despising the shame. The joy that Jesus was going to get out of loving people, out of providing them something they could not do for themselves, that was a joyful thing for Jesus to do. It didn't mean it wasn't difficult. It just meant that the result, the joy, what he was going to supply for the people was far more worth experiencing than to not do it because of the difficulty that it was going to cost him. Will we follow Jesus' steps? Will we become servants of others and shine the light of the glory and love of God? Thanks for being with us. Have a great holiday week.
All who are thirsty